You know, the fact is that the process we all work with, the approach that we use in the workshop and the approach that's described in the book, The Unconscious Actor, Out of Control and Full Command, is based on spiritual principles that go back well into my childhood, because it's a matter of realizing that we are more than just an ego. We are a much larger entity. And the way we use ourselves in the work, if we go about it the right way, is really basically a testimony to the spiritual principles that are underlying a successful human life or a successful human creativity. It's about the built-in spirituality and the mechanics of that creativity that are in human nature. And if we work from the right place, deep in ourselves, as we were talking about the other night in class, from our hearts, from our souls, it's a whole different process. And I think one of the things that got us off the track in this country is in writing the book, I spent so much time studying the history of training actors in the United States, especially since the beginning, and focusing greatly on what Lee Strasberg did in the early 1930s with the group theater. It became so much about the conscious mind, about the ego, about the intellect, about control, about willpower, about decision, and a lot of what is intuitively rich in us all was kind of shut down because of this overwhelming focus on the intellect, on the conscious mind, which is the area of the ego. Whereas if you go to the deeper self, the intuitional part of ourselves, you go to the heart, you go deeper into the soul, closer to our essence, closer to what we are as spiritual beings, and we work from that place. We're working from a place that is incredibly powerful, incredibly rich in terms of imagination and images and emotion. And it's a free-flowing process that just allows creativity to happen through us rather than being caused by us. We guide it, we shape it, but it comes through us because we are spiritual beings, at least from my point of view. And if we honor that, trust that, accept that, and open the door to that, it will almost do the work for us. We have to learn the craft. We have to learn how to block a scene, and how, there are things that we have to learn to do as craftsmen, as people who understand the mechanics of creating a performance. But it's not the craft part of ourselves that creates art. Craft is a ground, a beginning for art, and then we have to let go of the craft and transcend into the world of art. And that's what we're doing in class. We're working on the art of acting, the art of performance, the art of creativity, not the craft, but the art. There's a huge difference between creating from the conscious mind, which has a lot to do with craft, and allowing the unconscious mind to do the essential creativity coming from the deeper self. And that's what Stanislavski was after. That's why I quote Stanislavski in the book. That's why Stanislavski is such an important part of our whole teaching methodology, because he had a sense of that spiritual understanding that Mr. Strasberg, and I knew Mr. Strasberg, I worked with him and I honored him as a great teacher, but he didn't have Stanislavski's understanding of the spiritual underpinnings of the art of creating a performance. He just didn't have it. He was a very deeply intellectual man, very brilliant man, beautifully read, very literate, but he did not understand, he did not perceive that other aspect of the actor's nature or the human's nature.